Hi and welcome along to a very special Invincible podcast with my man Lee the Judge. Judges in the building. We're all here today to talk about the whole Declan Rice saga, and we are live. We're live today, right? So we want to hear from as many of you guys as possible. Let us know your comments. But we've got a really action-packed live show for us today because the big news is all about Declan Rice. Yeah. Of course, Declan Rice has been heavily linked with a move to Arsenal. A lot of people were more or less sort of saying that, listen, it's Arsenal are the front runners to get this done. But about a week ago, we heard that Manchester City were in the running to also maybe come in and get something done. And then news dropped today, and I'm going to get it up here from David Ornstein. And David Ornstein said that Manchester City are expected to submit an offer to West Ham for Declan Rice today. Manchester City have serious interest in recruiting the 24-year-old midfielder, and it's anticipated that a formal bid will be lodged soon to rival Arsenal's signing. Obviously, as soon as people heard about this, they went into absolute meltdown, including the man over there.
I'm not happy. Listen, I've got it on good authority, right? Authority that Arsenal have been negotiating and they're putting unrealistic clauses in now. I've been told that they are prepared to spend £130 million, Robbie, if and when Declan Rice gets 50 international caps for Ireland. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
You well, at least you can make a joke about it.
Well, you know what I mean? It's a joke. Listen, I'll be really honest. I get why people are getting meltdown and all that. I'm fed up with. I've got mates turning around saying Arsenal should walk away from the deal now. Well, listen, in January they knew how much they was going to have to spend. They should have walked away then. It's to me. Arsenal have looked at it and thought, oh, Declan Rice wants to come to Arsenal. We're trying. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Try and get a little bit more off the deal than what's taken from it. But you have to be realistic. This is West Ham's best player, and they want the proper money for him. Like, it's like saying to us, oh well, we're going to come in for Saka. He's worth 150 million, but we're gonna sell him for 100 million. We wouldn't be happy, Robbie. Like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, they want a price, and you've got to go for it. I think Arsenal have missed the boat now. I really do.
You really do?
Yeah.
Well, listen, I want to hear from as many of you guys as possible. As I said, it's live, and later on as well, we're going to be getting you guys up live as well on Fanzone. All you've got to do, if you want to come on and be part of the show today, all you've got to do is use the app, get onto the app AFTV Plus, and just press onto Fanzone, and you'll be able to come onto the show live and give us your opinions here on the Invincible podcast of what you are making at the moment. Can we still get the deal for Declan Rice done, or is this deal now in serious jeopardy now that Manchester City are involved? We got a very special guest on the show today. We got Nicky from West Ham Fan TV to come and give a West Ham perspective on it.
I don't know whether you want to clap or not.
Don't worry, man. Lee's not here.
Oh, well, I'm looking for him. I've been looking for him all day.
The other Lee, Lee's not here. Don't worry.
I've been looking for him all day, mate.
Well, listen, welcome along to the show.
Thanks, man.
Of course, he's your player at the moment. He's still a West Ham player. Where do you think he's going to end up?
I still think it's up in the air, Rob. Yeah, I do still think it's up in the air. Yeah, obviously, like, Man City are a massive draw, but Declan being Declan, he likes a challenge, and he might see Arsenal as a challenge, but who knows, mate? That's why I don't listen to these, like, with all due respect to the in and know accounts. I know they know a lot, but no one really knows nothing. The only people that know is the clubs and the player, and we've been hearing these rumours about Man City for a little while. It will soften the blow for me if he goes to a triple winning, because if he's,
So you'd rather him go Man City?
Well, just because as a West Ham fan, he says he wants to win trophies. That's the only place he's guaranteed to win trophies. He's guaranteed to win trophies there. So it softened the blow for us. We've been getting a lot of stick off of Arsenal fans for the past couple of weeks. And I said, like, don't talk before the fact. And they talk before the fact. And, but listen, I still think it's up in the air. To be honest with you, this is the God's honest truth. I don't care where he goes, because he's not going to be playing for West Ham next year. And that's all I do know. So Whether he wants to go to
the best deal you possibly can.
No, I want the. Do you know what? I want the best deal that Declan wants. If Declan wants to go to Arsenal, good luck to him. Go to Arsenal. If he wants to go to Manchester City, go to Manchester City. That's what I would say.
What's your gut feeling right now?
Man City's a draw. It's a draw, isn't it? You know, treble winners. You know, people say about Saka and Ramsdale and Ben White and all them guys who he also knows Jack Grealish, John Stones. You know, all them guys. So, who knows? My gut feeling is, I think he'll end up at Man City.
What's your gut feeling?
Gut feeling is, I still think. Look, listen, it's no secret. I've heard it from good sources that he did want to go to Arsenal.
Yeah, who them sources?
So,
sources that said it was nailed on.
HP and Branston.
I know Declan's gardener, right? You know what I mean? So, but no, I think this. You know, listen, I think Arsenal have got to stump up the price. You know what I mean? Listen, people say about it, like, we overspent on Ben White because we wanted him. Great, and it's been good for him. We've overspent. We've just give Chelsea, I think, £15 million more than what we should have done for Havertz, if I'll be honest. So realistically, look, if he's your number one target, he's the one you want. He's the one. And then listen, Arsenal went for Caicedo in January. Like now, on that, then it was told that Declan Rice was available and we could get him. And we sort of now gone on call on that one. Go and pay the money that West Ham want. Now, I'm not saying it's got to be the 120 million that they want. But really, I think that they're going to deal on 100 million. So deal, you know, go and do that.
Yeah, but that don't mean it gets done, though, Lee. That doesn't mean it gets done just because you go and stump up 100 million. That's not a guarantee that gets done, because City could then come along and say, all right, here's 100 million as well.
Yeah. Well, that's
these are big. I mean, I know a lot of people have been losing it online. I've seen today. I mean, a lot of people have been losing it online. Some people I've even seen in the chat here. There's people talking about sacking Edu, Arteta. You know, now you got to understand, this is what you call a mega deal. This is the biggest deal, by the way, that Arsenal have ever done. Biggest deal to this one's been the Pepe one, and that was like this dwarfs that. That was 70 odd million, right? £100 million for one player. You know, this is not an easy deal to be done, because he's a top player. There's other clubs all around world football that are top clubs that are interested in getting him.
For him, though, Robbie. One team has put a bid in for him. That's all.
Yeah.
Right? and I'll be honest, what it looks like, what I've seen and whatever. Bayern Munich were interested, but they've got, like, when they've looked at it, they've got no encouragement that he would go there. Same with probably Man United at this moment in time. But like, obviously, like with Arsenal, they did. And what worries me, if I'll be honest on that deal, is that if Man City must have got a bit of encouragement. But
well, my sort of the understanding on it is this, right? Is that Bayern Munich didn't go forth with their bid because they were under the understanding that Declan Rice has already said, I'm going to Arsenal. Yeah. So they're like, there's no point. He's going to Arsenal.
I don't think that's the truth, though. I don't think that's the truth. You know, you hear, as I said, you hear all these things. Look, I know his family personally, and they've never made any indication to anybody about where his destination would be. Never. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm talking about people that have known for years and years and years. You know, I've asked these guys.
But Arsenal must have had an encouragement.
They must have had an encouragement. But then, is it with Bayern Munich? Is it to do with the structure of the deal? You know, they want 75 million quid up front. Well, we ain't got that, so you know, we move on. You know, Bayern Munich are a big club who can attract big players. You know, but they've got some. You know, there's some sort of inkling that he wouldn't go there. Maybe he's turned around and said, "Look, Germany's just not for me." Whatever, you know what I mean. But I don't believe that. You know, we've been hearing all of this nonsense because we're hearing different stuff. He only wants to go to Arsenal. He's told everyone, and these are big accounts. He's told everyone he only wants Arsenal. And then today, the same people are saying he's open. It's not about only Arsenal. He's open to a move anywhere. So who knows what?
I think like one of the reasons, if Arsenal come in and done it, I think he probably would have. But I think it's going to be like what I think's changed is it's not going to be Arsenal or no one. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you'd still like to go to Arsenal, but if Arsenal can't sort out a deal, well, Manchester City will. I'm going to go there. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a lot down. A lot of this now is down on Arsenal. It's a lot down on Edu, Arteta, and everybody. And I'm going to bring Arteta into it as well, because when we get deals done, like for Saka and Martin, that's fantastic from Edu and Arteta, and all of a sudden, as soon as something goes a bit pear-shaped, it's just Edu who gets chucked in there. You know what I mean? Like, it's all of them. You know, Garlic, the whole lot of them. If they do not get a deal over the line when the player has not virtually said it, but like we know that he has. We said like he wants to go to Arsenal. Then if you don't get that deal done, then there's got to be some sort of accountability for it. I'm sorry, there has. You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of it, when you look at it at January, they was quoted a price, and they still have persevered with it, and they've actually put in 2 bids now, guys. You know what I mean? It's not like it's rumours and whatever. Arsenal do their business quietly in the past. They've gone in there and done it, and for whatever reason, they've not got it over the line at this moment.
But they've gone and paid, from what I understand, £65 million for Kai Havertz, and they've stuck £75 million on Declan Rice. Now, from where I'm sitting, Declan Rice is a much more sure thing than Kai Havertz.
The deal for was the second bid anyway was for 90 million. So it was
but 15 million in add-ons.
75 million plus 15 million in add-ons.
Yeah, but what are the add-ons?
Well, like Lee said, he makes some appearances for Northern Ireland.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like, but when you're thinking like they've probably made achievable ones for Chelsea, is like Champions. If a Champions League clause is in there, I'm sorry, but there's you're 135 years old. You've never won a Champions League. So is that a realistic add-on? I don't think so.
I don't think there is no. Well, you know what I mean? Like, 90 million guaranteed, I think pretty good, and like I'd even say £90 million, and then like 20 million add-ons, and if they don't come off, they don't come off. But still got the 90 million.
There's talk now that West Ham are looking for £50 million up front, with another 50 million to be paid next year. So I think even City would be put off by that. It's going to be really interesting to see how it turns out. I'll give you another bit of news, Nicky. Fabrizio Romano tweeting out, one of them big accounts that he was moaning about, but he's tweeting out and saying that he understands that West Ham are amongst clubs that are interested in signing Dennis Zakaria, good player he is.
He's a good player.
He's back to Juventus after his Chelsea loan. West Ham have asked for information and conditions of a deal, but there are many clubs in the race. Zakaria is not in Juventus plans for next season. Zakaria, I mean, Rice is going, isn't he? Like you're lining up targets.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to. They're preparing for Declan. And I said this, whether it be Arsenal, Man City, Man United, Bayern Munich, whoever, get this deal done. What we do know is Declan Rice is not going to be playing for West Ham come August. So get it done, get it sorted out. Let him know exactly what price you want. Let him go to wherever he wants to go and start moving on our targets. That's what we need to do.
Okay.
Whether it be Arsenal or whoever, I don't care.
Well, this is an Invincible podcast live. We're doing it live. It's the first time we've done this live.
Yeah, first time.
First time we've done it on the show live. And also we're going to give you guys a chance to come on live as well. So if you want to come on to the show and speak, all you got to do is download the app AFTV Plus, and you got a chance to come on to the show live. We're going to be getting Big Steve up soon. Coming up in about 10 minutes time. Big Steve, obviously big Man City fan. And we're going to be finding out what's the feeling at City. Let me just do a couple of the comments that have come in here. Thierry Henry says it's getting ridiculous at this point. If we don't get Rice, heads have to roll. I'm sick and tired of his BS every year now. To hell with this idiotic club. Yeah. I told you there are some fans pretty pissed off at the moment, Lee.
Yeah, listen, I get why the Arsenal fans are like that, because there's always been excuses. We're not in Europe. We're not in. They're not in Champions League. Now we're in the Champions League. Now we've got no excuses, really. We shouldn't be missing our big targets. And we had it all the last couple of seasons, Robbie. We've had it where we've missed big targets because of not being able. Now listen, the Mudryk one I can understand a little bit on that one there. This one I can't. going to lose it on this one. I'll tell you that. And the reason I'm going to lose it is because Declan Rice, when I look at Arsenal last season, why didn't we win the league? Because we wasn't strong enough in those midfield areas. That's why we didn't win the league. So what do? We go and spend 65 million on Kai Havertz. He's a player that, whether we get him or not, he's not going to win us the league. I'm not saying Declan Rice is going to beat up, but what it will is push us into that chance of doing that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he is as good as anything in the league. And, you know, I look at it last January and I see Caicedo, we couldn't get him. And then I'm going to say it now, we couldn't get him, and we all got Jorginho, and everybody said, "Oh, that's great, we've done a great bit of business." But it's not now. You know what I mean? Like that, your Jorginho was a good little fix for 6 months. We're talking Declan Rice for 6 years to 7 years of midfield, not 6 months. And I'm sorry if I don't get this deal done. You know, listen, I've got a lot of time for Edu, and you know, and I'm going to be honest. Arteta has won me over the last few seasons, but this will be the next. Do you imagine if this doesn't come off, and in the next couple of months, Arsenal don't do the business in the league next season? There is going to be a meltdown at this club, all because they didn't do what was right now. They've put themselves in a position.
Not easy though, Lee.
Not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's funny how it's easy to get someone like Kai Havertz, though. It's very easy to get someone like Jorginho, isn't it?
Because they want to sell him.
Right, but
it's easier because he's not as in demand as you know, Declan Rice is.
Exactly. And why? So what do you have to do, Robbie? You have to pay the money. It's, you know, you ain't going to... We're not shopping in Lidl's now, like, do you know what I mean? Like, at the end of it, like, you know, when you're in the Champions League, you've actually got to start performing like a big club. Yes, these deals are hard to get through over the line, but why are they hard? Because you've got to spend the money. You can't skinflint on these deals. You ain't going to get a bargain.
All right, you know what? We got Big Steve on the line, big Man City fan. Let's see if we can get him. I'll get the headphones on.
Do I have to talking to Steve?
Yeah, we do have to talk to him, unfortunately. You know, so let's see if we can get Big Steve up on Fanzone.
I think I'll say hello to Steve, then I think I'll shoot off and leave you to him, I think.
How you doing, lads? All right?
I can't see him, but I can hear him.
All right, Steve.
How you doing, mate? Okay.
I'm very good, thank you very much.
There he is. We can see him now. Yeah, we are okay, yeah.
I'd rather have him blanked, like, because he ain't got that chirpy smile. Look at it, like.
Listen, lads, mine's a treble if anyone wants to buy me a drink.
Oh, my God, he started already, man. He started already.
Yeah, congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Not, yeah. And now, despite winning the treble, right, and winning everything in the game, we're trying to get a player in Declan Rice. Up pops you lot now, trying to get him. Haven't you got enough in midfield? You got Rodri. You got Calvin Phillips. You bought Kovacic yesterday. Leave us alone.
Listen, I think we just played it cute. We didn't really know what Gundogan was going to do. Obviously, he's decided that he needs to leave. Wish him the best. And then look, other than Bellingham, the next midfielder everyone's looking at in the world is Rice. He's won his trophy with West Ham. We know he wants pastures new. And look, sit here in the driving seat, obviously with what we've won this season. I heard you guys talking before. If Arsenal sign Havertz, for me, doesn't really make them any better, in my opinion. I think you've got better players than him. But if you sign Declan Rice, he instantly adds something different to your midfield and he makes you elite. And I think he does that with us as well. I think he's a different kind of midfielder than Gundogan. I think he's young, he's hungry. I think with Rodri behind him, letting him go a little bit, I think he can be a powerhouse. I think he could drive us forward. The rumours I'm hearing from the City end is that we are definitely in for him. So it's just one of them things. I think if you're going up against any other club in this country, I think the way Arsenal played last season, the way you're looking at Arsenal now, the young team, and the way, you know, there's a lot of ambition there. I think Arsenal get the deal done, but I just think with the way City are at the minute, what they can offer him, you know, the football we're playing, and obviously what we've just won, I think hopefully that can get him over the line for us.
So you see him playing in like the Gundogan position, because at West Ham, Nicky, he's more sort of defensive midfielder, isn't he?
Yeah, but he is a player that can play that position, and sometimes when he picks up the ball and runs with the ball, he is a powerhouse, you know. And I think he goes a lot under the radar when he does things like that for us, and I think he goes under the radar a lot of things he does. People just see him as this. That's why people say he's not worth this, he's not worth that. But when people like Mikel Arteta and Pep Guardiola are after you, there's obviously something that he offers that the normal fan probably can't see. But I think he'd be fantastic there. I honestly do. I think Manchester City.
And you're on our show, man. I mean,
no, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I think he'd be fantastic.
And you can leave now. You know what I mean?
I'll go now. Steve, good luck with these guys, man. No, I'm joking, man. I've got to go anyway.
Oh, you got to go. All right, nice one. Cheers, man.
Cheers, Steve. Good luck, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Look at them like they're mates. You know what I mean? Oh my God. So are you feeling confident that Man City will get this done, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, the Kovacic deal came out of nowhere. I've got a feeling that Pep's just got a feeling for Kovacic. I think he thinks he can improve him. I think he can get another 10-20% out of Kovacic. I think he's gone stale at Chelsea. And with Declan Rice, he's a young, hungry English midfielder. I think Pep, I think he can just do wonders with him. I think it's different coming to Man City. I think at West Ham, he's the main man in the midfield. He's got to sit deep. He's got to protect the back four. He's got to work hard. I think at City with Rodri there, I think he can add a few different things to his game. But listen, it's going to be a straight shootout. I mean, Arsenal, like you said before, it's all right saying we've got to pay the money, but I'm not no disrespect. If Man City come knocking, they're on the back of a treble, the champions of Europe. If they come knocking, it's going to turn his head a little bit. If you're going up against Chelsea or Tottenham or Man United even, I think with the London connection and the way Arsenal are, I think Arsenal can get it done. But if City's genuinely got an interest in him, I can only see him coming one way.
It's not sounding good, is it?
No, it isn't. It isn't from that point of view. And I get that what they're saying it, but listen, Man City I think going to Man City can be a good thing and a bad thing. I think one when you look at it, they just won the treble. Looking at the treble, can he get better than that playing with him? I don't know. And also, I think you've got to look at it playing time. I really do think that, with City, I think, if you're guaranteed to winning trophies, I think we all know that. They're a serial winner now, and you have to respect that. But I look at other players that have gone there. Grealish, for instance, the season before, I think it's been fantastic this season. Didn't get a lot of game time. Calvin Phillips hasn't got a lot of game time this time around. I do think that Steve makes a great point, because my mate West Ham Paul has said this as well, that he feels that Declan Rice will become a much better player going box to box. And I think that's something that Arsenal may use. I don't know what Arsenal.
Yeah, you know what? Funny enough is that I get the feeling that Arsenal could use him in that position as well, because there's me and James were talking about it the other day and saying that is he a replacement for Xhaka, that he's going to play in that box to box position. But certainly the one thing I would say that, and you make a good point there, Lee, and I want to ask Steve this as well, is that if he comes to Arsenal, he's playing every week. He's guaranteed. He is straight in, and you're going to play every week, especially with the rumours that Thomas Partey might be going, right? And those rumours have hotted up again today with linking him with a move to Juventus. So if you go to City, you're not guaranteed that you're going to play every week, especially to start off with. And you've got to consider that it is a season where, we're going into the Euros. The Euros are going to be taking place next year. And if you're a player like Declan Rice, you want to be playing every week to impress the manager. Listen, he is a mainstay in that England team, but just to keep impressing the manager. And maybe if he goes to Arsenal with that guarantee of playing every week, that may help to push him to I don't know. What do you think, Steve?
Let's be honest, looking at the England midfielders, they're not blessed with many deep options in there. So even if Declan didn't play a lot of games, he's getting in the England side. Calvin Phillips didn't play for Man City, getting the England side. I just think Pep won't spend that kind of money if he's not going to play him. I just think Manchester City this season, after winning a treble and losing key players, we could lose Bernardo, we could lose Mahrez, Laporte and Gundogan. there could be a drop-off from our team. And I think one thing that Pep's got to do is make sure that he keeps the energy up. And I think if he brings in players like Declan Rice, he brings in players like Kovacic, who have been there before, I think he's freshening it up. I don't think he lets anyone rest on the laurels in the team. I don't think he's going to let anyone sit back and think, well, we're the treble winners and drop it. I think he's got to keep the motivation up. I mean, what we've done, 5 out of the last 6 Premier Leagues, we've just won the treble. To keep going and not have any drop-off, it's going to be tough. So I expect Declan to come in. He's young, he's hungry, and like you say, he's a leader. And I think with Gundogan going, we've lost our leader. Declan can come in. Rodri's unbelievable. Kevin De Bruyne, he's getting a little bit older now. Kev, he's picking up a few knocks. So I think there's going to be 3 or 4 coming at Man City this season just to keep that alive and keep that energy going. And if you look at the way City do it, we let these players go like Gundogan and people see their arse and say, oh, we should have given him another year, but we don't. David Silva went, we should have given him another year according to the fans. Aguero went, we should have given him another year. Yaya went. Manchester City know when to freshen it up and they know when it's time to go. And I think Gundogan's gone with our blessing. Bernardo can go with a blessing. And I think Declan Rice, the talk about Calvin Phillips now being involved in the deal, I don't know how true that is. I spoke to Calvin last Monday at the parade party and he was fully like, I'm coming back next season. I realise what I need to do and I'm ready to go. But things change in football and if Pep wants him, I think he'll get him.
Do you think like the captaincy could have something to do with it as well?
Bit closer to you, Matey.
Like the captaincy could have something to do with it because at Arsenal he's never going to be captain at Arsenal with Odegaard being there. But like as Steve said there, like Gundogan's just left now, they're captain. So they could actually promise him
De Bruyne will be captain though.
Yeah, but like De Bruyne is what?
To be honest, I think Ruben Diaz or Rodri might get a nod for captain, but he's a captain without the armband. You get them in a team, someone that's driving you on, but he's not got the armband on. And Declan's been that. I think what Manchester City do as well, they look at characters of players. We sign players, and it's not all about the football ability. It's about the character. What you're doing now, your lifestyle's living, things like that. We signed Manuel Akanji for £14 million and people were laughing. Look at him this season. He's played more or less every week. He's played left back, right back, centre back. And I think Declan Rice coming in that team, young, English, it's a win-win for us. But like you say, I don't think Arsenal are out of it yet. Arsenal, they've got a good chance. But I just think with what City's won this season, we can turn their head a little bit, I think.
It's going to be interesting. This is how it's going to be now, though. Because years ago it used to be Arsenal, Man United, didn't it? And then it's been Liverpool and Man City. What we've done is we've pushed ourselves into the party with the performance we did last season, but we've got to back it up. And I do believe, listen, people, Manchester City, what they've done was fantastic last season, but Arsenal, I felt we left ourselves short in that midfield area all season, and this is the time that it's just a game changer. If Arsenal were to sign Rice, it could really push us that little bit closer to Manchester City. I really do and for them not to get it over the line and skinflint over 10 million or whatever, especially when they've bought Havertz for 15 million, in my opinion, over the top. 15 million over the top when he's not, I don't think, a game changer like Declan Rice is.
Do you know what, right? Excuse me. You know what this is going to turn out to be, right? It's going to be one of those situations that if we don't get this done and City get him, it's going to look terrible. It's going to look terrible on Arsenal. It's going to look terrible on Arteta. It's going to look terrible on Edu. It's another one of our main targets missed. We've seen so many main targets missed out. I mean, we're going for Mudryk, we missed out on him. We were going for Lisandro Martinez, missed out on him. We're going for Vlahovic, missed out on him. All number one targets that we've missed out on. This will be the biggest of those number one targets that we've gone after and missed out. And to miss out to it, to City, the team that, got past us to win the league, it's going to look terrible. But then on the other hand, if they can persuade Declan Rice to come to Arsenal, it'll be a bit of a coup, because they'd be like, well, you know what? City wanted him, but he decided to come to Arsenal. And that's a statement of intent that a player like Declan Rice is saying, well, you know what? Actually, I think Arsenal's just as good a proposition as City, and maybe he's sort of signalling and saying, well, I think we can catch City. I mean, what do you think to that, Steve?
Oh, listen, if Arsenal got him, it would be a statement to the rest of the Premier League as well that they mean business. Listen, Arsenal's had a fantastic season. You've got to realise where they came from. Nobody on earth gave him a chance. When we went in toe to toe with you guys last season, there was parts of that season where I was confident in our team in the later stages. I said that, let's get to the business end. And when I said the shark comment and that, it's because I meant it. It wasn't trolling. I just thought we had enough in the tank late on. But I tell you what, you look at it, and it was Arsenal that let themselves down near the end. It wasn't, we were playing catch up. You could have just blown us away and gone and won that league, and we couldn't have done anything. It was only losing 12 or 15 points at the death in the business end that killed it for you. And it was just a bit of lack of experience, a lack of squad depth. You had to play Rob Holding. The young Polish kid had probably got more minutes than what you needed to give him. And then I think the atmosphere just fell flat in the camp late on. I think once City was on the necks, I think they realised, like, we've left the door open here and it's not going to happen. I think they'll be better prepared for it. I think it's a learning curve. I think this season they won't make them same mistakes. But the transfer window for Arsenal is so crucial. They've got a lot of money to spend, but they've got to spend it right. They haven't got the luxury of making a mistake and then going again. They've got to spend it right. And this is where Arteta now, we know he's a good coach. We know he plays good football. We know he can motivate the team. But this is where, if he has a good summer and he gets the right recruits, this is where Arsenal kick on and and challenge for that title again. Because everybody else is trying to strengthen and fight for it.
So you know what? I'm gonna let you go now, Steve. But let's ask one final question, right? To you as well, Lee. Where is he gonna end up? Where is Declan Rice going to end up, Lee?
I'm gonna still back Arsenal. I feel that I think that there's a lot of positive moves before this, and I think maybe it'd be a big blow if we don't. So we need this more than City. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Steve.
Like I said before, if the interest is genuine and Manchester City genuinely want him, I think we get him, and I think he'll be playing for Man City against Seville in the Super Cup.
All right, get lost now.
Yeah.
No, listen, Big Steve, thank you very much for coming on, man. Really appreciate it, man.
Cheers, Steve.
Big up to Steve. Big up. Make sure you check out Steve, man. Massive.
He's a good guy, Steve.
He is a good guy.
He actually. Talk sense.
He did speak. That's the. I don't want him to speak sense because he
does speak.
He's
sense.
Actually speaking sense in that. They are the favourites now, aren't they?
Yeah, because of
or are they?
I think in one way they are, and another way they're not. Speaking to Nicky off air, you know what I mean. Like if you've got ambition, I think. One thing as a footballer, you want to win things, but say if you could win those things with Arsenal, like he done with West Ham, that'll always be special because it was West Ham. But when you go to a team that's, and Alan Shearer said this a few years ago when he went to Man United, it didn't work out for him, but he was going, Man United were winning the cups, winning the leagues all the time. If I'd have been doing that, I'd have been one of players that's just won so many things for them. But if I could have done it with Newcastle, it would have been so much. If he went to Arsenal and Arsenal won the league, that would be a massive thing. And also I do think that with Arsenal, it's a thing over these next 4 or 5 years. If Arsenal get it right, we will be I'm not saying we're going to win everything, but we've got Saka, we've got Martinelli, we've got Jesus, we've got Odegaard. We get him. We've got a side that I think is a little bit younger. They're aging a little bit, by the way. Man City. He made a great point there. They're losing 3 or 4 players. De Bruyne ain't going to be around for that in 2 or 3 years' time. So maybe he look at it and go, do you know what? If I can do it with Arsenal, it can mean that little bit much. Hasn't got to move the family. Hasn't got to move all of that sort of stuff as well. So being in London is a big. Do you remember years ago it was a big thing, wasn't it? So listen, Arsenal must have had some sort of indication that he wants to come to. And if I look at it and he does end up at Man City, it's not because it's a mess up from our point of view. We should never have let it
There's
happen.
a lot of people. Oh, you're saying it is a mess up from our point of view.
Yeah, if we don't get him, yeah,
Okay.
I do. I do believe it will be. Yeah, I think. I don't think you can. I don't think you can make and look at excuses. If he goes to Man City, we've had an opportunity weeks ago to nail this. You know what I mean? Like, and not even put him in the opportunity. The fact of the matter is, Man City have been in the background for over a week now, right? And we've still made bids. We've still made bids that are not good enough.
And they've just waited around while we've been making them bids, ready to pounce. Let me get through a few super chats, and then we're going to get a few callers up, because we've got some callers who have called in live to the show. It's the Invincible podcast live. So we're going to get them on so they can talk to me and Lee about this Declan Rice. That's what we're talking about today. I know there's some other things. Havertz is on the verge of signing. He's having his medical over the next couple of days. Thomas Partey's been linked with a move to Juventus today. But the big news is all about Declan Rice and the fact that Manchester City are attempting to hijack the deal that Arsenal are trying to make for Declan Rice. Excuse me here. Michael says, please, Robbie, stop money talks. And Arsenal once again have gone mute. Jack Harmon says, afternoon, lads. I might be the new headphones. I believe Rice will join the mighty Arsenal. I live near the Anchor Publi. You should pop in for a beer.
Oh,
sometimes.
Yeah, cool.
Quiet down the scum, he says.
Yeah.
Bilal says, all the Mudryk, Rice and Caicedo sagas were only meant for PR purposes to distract fans with the false hopes.
That is the worry,
Hashtag Edu out, the Cronkies out.
That is a worry, because people are turning around and saying, oh, look at Arsenal, we're bidding for this, we're bidding for that, showing a little bit of ambition. Look, you know what I mean? I can go and bid for a £1 million house. I ain't going to be able to afford it. I can go to the Ferrari showrooms and say, oh yeah, I like the look of that Ferrari. How much? That does not mean I'm going to go and buy it.
The bids for Declan Rice have been serious. Come on.
Yeah, they've been serious. So what do you mean you bid for a house? But like, it's all right. Say if I want to go and buy £1 million house, I'm betting. I'm going to the owners and going, yeah, I really like your house. I'll give you 700,000 for it. They're not going to sell it, Robbie. You know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you this: then you go to buy £1 million house. Do you go to the owner of that house and just put £1 million down on the table?
No, you don't. But you go
you negotiate, innit?
Yeah, of course you do. And I'm not saying that, but we've negotiated with Mudryk. Never got him. You know, when we've done this a little bit too much. You know, Caicedo, we bid in there and didn't get him. You know what I mean? It's all right making.
Yeah, but he didn't go anywhere, did he?
It's like going to an auction, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? And you know, you think to yourself, right? Oh, well, all right. It's worth £100, but I'll put a tenner in. Just well, what I bid, didn't win it though, did I? You know what I mean? You can't keep bidding and not winning.
This is not exactly the same. Come on.
No, like, listen, I get that, but you cannot keep bidding and going, oh yeah, well at least we bidded, we was in for it, we're showing ambition. You show ambition when you're in the Champions League, you are in a window, when you need midfield players, you show your ambition. You show what you have to do, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
But they could still have bid 100 million, yeah? Right?
They've not got.
No, but hold on. They could still have bid 100 million, and City could still come in. Remember, it's a transfer window. City could still come in and say, actually, we're going to put 100 million down and all.
Right, not a problem. Right, this is a problem. This is not a problem. If Arsenal put down, if Manchester City agree a price, just say like today, Manchester City agree a bid, and we match that bid, and he decides to go to Man City, I don't think that's an embarrassment. That's one of those things, like, you know what I mean? We went for Mudryk, you know, we pulled out of that halfway through, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't want to go with matching. Don't keep pulling out the bids, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, put in there and give yourself that opportunity. At the end of it, if it doesn't work out, I can get that, you know what I mean? The Mudryk one, like, you know what I mean? Everybody went, it's 100 million and all that, like, it was too much money. We got Trossard, we've done fantastically well, like, you know what I mean? This... And I'm going to be really honest with it. With Mudryk, we didn't really know what he was like. And it's turned out that he's going to probably be 2 or 3 years down the line. But we know exactly what Declan Rice can give you week in, week out. It's not gamble. You know what you can do. Like, you know, if they miss out to him and it's the same amount of money, I ain't got a problem. But if they bid in 100 million, we say, oh no, we couldn't quite match that. That ain't good enough. That ain't good enough.
All right.
I'm getting angry now, like, you know what I mean?
Thierry Henry says, Lee's chatting here, man. Arteta identifies the player and profiles. It's not his flipping job to figure out structures. This is on your mate and garlic.
I agree.
Lawrence Emmanuel says, as an
I will
Arsenal
say
fan,
that, though. I just want to come back onto that one. I will say that, like, but who's just got the Havertz deal? According to the press, who just got that over? Mikel Arteta was the one that swayed it to happen. So Mikel is involved. Don't think that he's not. He can still get in there and persuade Declan to come here, like, you know what I mean? So don't think they're not involved.
Lawrence Emmanuel says, as an Arsenal fan, I'm ashamed and embarrassed because we're supposed to be a big club, yet Edu wants to buy everyone as if he's shopping at a 99-cent store. Joel Gump says, sick of these clubs. City had no interest in Rice. They're shook of Arsenal. This is why they're resorting to try and stop us challenging. It's a liberty. It's the business we're in. Tony says, Robbie, stop the PR for the club. The fans aren't stupid. I don't know where people are coming from. Just because I'm explaining, I have to listen. I like to do things in a balanced way, right?
Yeah.
So I want to explain how these transfers work. You don't just go in there and slap £100 million down on the table and it gets done. No team goes and just pays £100 million up front for starters. I see people say, oh, why is installments? It literally, every transfer deal that gets done is done in installments. So I'm just trying to put a little bit of context to the deal. Ain't nothing to do with no PR. I'm just trying to explain the deal.
Listen, and get this right. Tottenham put in a £100 million price on Harry Kane. Manchester City went in with 80 million.
Yeah, and walked away from the deal and didn't return.
Away. So don't
because they said
think other teams don't do it.
And that's Manchester City.
It's not about what other teams do and what other teams do. It's skinflinting or whatever. At the end of the day, Arsenal are going to try and get the best deal that they can. But in the end of it, get the deal. Get the deal done. Like, exactly. You know what I mean? That's the difference.
Blue Moon M14 says, don't blame City. You lot was penny pinching. Trevor Dan says, I don't think we can blame Edu, M-A-W-H. We're always going to drag at their feet for City to join the race. If we bid 100 million, they would have just waited and bid 120. Lawrence Emmanuel says, taxi for Edu. Tony says, it's sickening, Robbie, telling us we don't understand negotiations. When this club continues to disrespect the fans, Lee watched Man City pay less money. By the way, we don't know where he's going to end up yet. That's still not been decided yet. Obviously, the thing I think that makes City the favourites is not so much the money, it's the fact that what they've been doing and the fact that they've got Pep Guardiola as their manager. What if Rice goes to City? Who are we getting, says Murad. Well, then to me, if he goes to City, we've got to try and get Caicedo done. No doubt Chelsea will be trying to get Caicedo done as quickly as possible now. Lee Slim says, get this. Havertz wasn't our number one target, but yet we wasted our resources on him when we should have focused strictly on Rice. He says, if this is what we pay, an extra 10 to 15 pound on kits and tickets, etc. I wanted to pay to be stressed. I'd do it for free. This is simply ridiculous. VM says Man City is nothing more than a club used as a pissing contest between the sheikhs, and they've made another EPL. They've made the EPL into another golf league. Joshua says, we all know how this ends. I hope Edu surprises us. Hakim says, I think we should put 95 million on the table. And if West Ham don't accept that, we should get Sergei Milinkovic-Savic. Simon Paul says, West Ham want it over 2 years. We've offered it over 5. City have offered it over 2 years. We owe 154 million in player transfers. That's a problem. Thierry Henry says, that's cap, Rob. Madrid paid straight away, no BS. Well, Madrid didn't want to pay up for Mbappe. No. They said they'll wait until the end of the season. Rizwan says, in the past 3 years, Edu and Arteta have built the third most valuable team in world football. We've done this through shrewd business. 90 mil is a fair price. If Man City pay over the odds, so be it. We've got some callers. I think we've got Jude from Chicago. Let's see, get the headphones on, Lee. See if we got Jude from Chicago on the line. Jude, can you hear us? He looks like he's in his car there. He can't hear us. You there, Jude? We'll come back to it. We'll come at Jude Bellingham there.
So
it could have been.
Listen,
he's offering his service as an alternative.
It'd be really interesting what the fans actually think about this, because I don't think, I get what a lot of people are saying. Is it embarrassing? I don't know. I'm not going to go down that route of being embarrassed.
No, you know what, Lee? It will be embarrassing. I'm going to be honest, right? If we don't get the deal done, it's embarrassing because he's our number one target, and we would have been gazumped by the team that beat us to the league last year, and it will be embarrassing. And City fans will be laughing. I know Big Steve came on here and he was very respectful, but they'll be laughing and saying, listen, we are bigger than you. That's why he's come to us.
Yeah, but you're saying that, like, if Man City were to say, right, we're giving you 120 million, you feel that Arsenal should go and match that? Because I don't think he's worth 120 million when Jude Bellingham's just gone for 120 million.
Yeah, no, listen, he's not worth. I don't think City will pay 120 million. I really don't. But I think they might just match what we do.
Well, then it's embarrassing. Yeah,
it would be embarrassing because the player will want to come. I think we got Jude back.
We got Jude back, haven't we?
Have we got Jude? Jude, how you doing? You there, Jude?
He's definitely there.
Can you hear us though, Jude?
Oh,
there we got.
Is that what you got?
How are we doing, Jude?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can't. You're a bit out of.
I'm here.
Oh yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, lovely.
How are you doing? Oh, it's a really bad line. We'll see if we can get Jude back. But remember, you can come on live to the show today in Fanzone. All you got to do is download the app, press on to Fanzone, and you're through to the show. You can talk to me and Lee. Invincible podcast live today. The reason why we're doing it live is this big news that Manchester City have entered the race to sign Declan Rice, the number one target for Arsenal. Arsenal have already made 2 bids that have both been rejected. Now Manchester City are involved and anything could happen. Could Arsenal, the same way it would be embarrassing if we don't get him, I still think it would be a big statement if we did get him.
Yeah, it'd be a massive statement if we get him, but it definitely is embarrassing. I just had a little think about it while I was saying, because we put in 2 bids for Caicedo in January, right? Caicedo, didn't we, really? And maybe we've gone off of that because we were guaranteed of getting Rice. So to lose out here, it would be embarrassing.
Okay, I think we've got Shabz. We've got another caller up. Let's see if we've got Shabz up. How you doing, Shabz?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you. How you doing, Shabz?
Yeah, how you doing, Robbie and Lee? A great fan of your show, so thank you for having me on.
No, thanks for coming on. What are you made of all this now? It's all been kicking off today. Declan Rice, now Manchester City have entered the race. You would have heard Big Steve earlier. He's pretty confident that Manchester City are going to sign him, and it will be another one of our big targets that we'd have missed out on.
I guess what it is, Rob and Lee, is it depends how big our pool is now. We're competing with Man City. They're a monster of a team, monster of a club, but it seems to me that what Lee said before, like with Caicedo in January, they must have been informed by Rice's agents that he's willing to come. That's why we probably stopped everything, left it, and said, look, you got a number one target, you're a number one man, we're going to bid for you. And I think you mentioned it a couple of shows ago, Robbie, about a conference win they made. I think that's put the price up a little more, and I think Arsenal were probably informed by the agents, and they probably said, look, if you bid around about 80 million, 90 million, you probably can get him. But everything's probably turned in the last couple of weeks, and West Ham have made this public since day one. It's been public, and they want this to happen, so they're in probably the best position here, to get wherever they can. And it looks like City have been there in the background, like Big Steve says, like sharks. They just wander around, testing the waters, seeing what's happening. And I think they probably got wind of it, like but the bid that Arsenal made yesterday or a couple of days ago is close. So they probably thought, what, let's if they're looking to accept that, we better structure a payment plan, and that's why I think they're interested now, because we need there, but it's just It's just the structure it's the investments, structure of
If it don't get done, you heard what Lee said. Lee will be saying that it's our fault. You still maintain that, haven't you?
Yeah, 100%. I think it is our fault. Yeah.
Yeah, you can sort of. I think we were in the driving seat here, but it looks like West Ham informing Man City all week, saying, "No, these are the bids." And I think the last bid was interesting for West Ham, and now I think that's when Man City have interested, and obviously it's linked in with Ilkay Gundogan leaving, and again it's all about how much it's the desire of Declan Rice here now, because Edu and Arteta can't mess this up now. They're giving that priority as a one target. They're giving all the love, whatever they've done in the last couple of months, and it all depends on Declan Rice now. What ambition does he have here? If he wants to play for Arsenal, or play for Man City. But also another point I was going to make as well, guys. We find in this position competing with big clubs around Europe. Bayern Munich and Man City with their players in the last couple of weeks. With Julian Timber. Kai Havertz as well. You had Bayern sneaking around, and we've actually, starting to get that pull again. And I think that's probably the most important thing here. Trying to be positive here, guys. And that is what we Arsenal fans wanted. It's being that major pull now. And I think we're there, guys.
Yeah, that's a good point. That Lee, that Lee's moved closer to me now, right? That is a good point, isn't it? That at least we're competing for these type of players now. Yeah,
well, listen, that there is that, and I get that argument, but the actions speak louder than words. As I said, we can all say that. I think maybe it was a great point made there, but I think maybe Manchester City have probably heard that maybe the deal is too far off. So let's try and get they can't get this payment structure right, and maybe they've jumped in and thought, you know what, if they can't do it, we can. And and
that's what I think's happened here, because 9 million, it seems to be like the money they want, but it's all about the structure of the payments. I've heard is they want 50 million straight away, and Man City can afford that. We might not be able to afford to give 50 million straight away. We probably can afford to give 20 million.
I think that could be something to do with it, and I do think that I do think that Declan Rice isn't going to say to West Ham, it's either West Ham. It's either Arsenal or nothing. I think that it'll be either Arsenal. If Arsenal can't come up with a deal, I'm prepared to go to Manchester United. I'm prepared to go to Manchester City or wherever. I think there's something in it.
Yeah. Okay. It's probably Declan Rice is going to be respectful to West Ham. He's a West Ham academy product. It's like Mudryk. He was a Shakhtar Donetsk product. He really wanted to come to Arsenal, but in the end of the day, the club is the one that sort of directed him. Yeah.
Money talks, and ambition as well in this case. But listen, Shabz, thank you very much for your call.
Cheers,
really appreciate it. No, thanks for coming on. You're a brilliant caller. Thanks very much for Shabz. We've got somebody else up. We're live here today with the Invincible podcast with Elliot. Hello?
Hello, Robbie.
How you doing, man? How you doing? You got me and Lee on today in the Invincible podcast.
He don't look at me.
Oh my days, man.
Robbie, there's an old saying. You can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. This has turned out to be a sow's ear. How in God's greenest do we land in this position? Well, let's put some perspective on this, Robbie. We have let go of Moises Caicedo, Declan Rice, for Kai Havertz, Robbie. Because think about it this way. The money that you dedicated to Kai Havertz, that you gave to Chelsea to go get Moises Caicedo, could have been easily topped up and placed towards Declan Rice. Isn't that right, Robbie?
Yeah, well, hold on. Slow down a second, because number one, it's not over yet, yeah? It's not over yet. Right? Hold on, one second. What we've been told today is that Manchester City have entered the race to sign Declan Rice. So, I don't know if this is at this moment in time, it's not a money thing, because Manchester City have not actually made a bid yet to sign Declan Rice. All they've done is they've entered the race. They've said, we're interested. You know what I mean? And they got involved now in the race to sign him, but they've not actually said, there's not been actually any talk about money yet. So I don't think you can really collate the actual Havertz thing into it yet. I'm not saying that might not be a factor. It could be. If it comes down to money and then we turn around and say, well, we're not going to go any further because maybe, you know, City bid 110 million and we bid. But at this moment in time, we don't know that. We don't know that.
I'll tell you what will be a shambles, and it's a great point.
Go forward a bit.
It's a great point that he makes here. Is that we could lose out on Rice, but we could also lose out on Caicedo now, because we've given Chelsea the money to buy Caicedo.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, that's poor business if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a horrible situation when Man City enter into the race, because it's not just the money that they've got, it's the fact that they've got the pull. They've got the pull. I don't think Elliot can hear us now. All right, we've lost Elliot, but the point he's making there.
That was a good call from Elliot, really. Because
it is a good call. You can see he's very angry.
And listen, you know, I would say to all Arsenal supporters at this moment in time that, you know, don't be angry at the moment, because it's not worth being angry for something we don't know what's going to happen. But listen, I think Arsenal put themselves in a real poor position here now, because there's been a great feel-good factor of the Arsenal. Yeah. There is, isn't there? All last season, all that, and it could be ruined in this summer, because you've asked the Arsenal fans to already spend big money extra money on season tickets this season because of the Champions League, right? And at the end of it, you know, I'm not sure. I don't really want to be spending all the money that I am on my season ticket to watch 6 Champions League games and Kyle Havertz. I'm sorry, you know what I mean? Like,
why do you keep bringing Kai Havertz?
Because that's the one we've gone and bought. So
no, but you know what? You see, the thing is, if we would have got a Kai Havertz, all right. Let me give you this scenario. Yeah. We bid for Declan Rice.
Got Declan Rice.
No, hold on. We bid for Declan Rice. Man City come in just like what's happened now. Yeah. And then we didn't end up getting him. Then we went and got Havertz afterwards. You'd still be moaning.
Yeah, because
you'd be moaning and say, well, look, we've gone from Declan Rice to Havertz. They've got two. There were 2 targets. They had a target.
Nothing to do.
They had a target of getting Declan Rice. Havertz came to the fore. They've got Havertz, but they're still in for Declan Rice.
Nothing to do with Kyle Havertz. He's a different position. Kai Havertz is a different position to what we need. I looked at it at the beginning of this season, like going into this transfer window. I looked at it and saying, what did we need? We need holding midfield players before we need Havertz, and that's how I still feel. But we've gone and spent £65 million, and by the way, helping Chelsea out, because Chelsea got to get rid of players. And it's funny how Chelsea managed when we were trying to get rid of players, we had to get them off the books and all that. And it's funny how Chelsea have all of a sudden got Saudi people coming and buying all
well, that's another matter.
There you go. So at the end of the day, don't give Chelsea £65 million off of their books, whether you do it over 5 years or whatever, so that they can go and buy Caicedo now or somebody else, you know what I mean? Which is what they've done.
We got some more callers here. Let's see.
On, lads.
Let's see who we got next. Who we got there?
This is Terence.
Terence, how you doing, mate? Where are you calling from?
Mate? I'm calling from Philadelphia.
Calling from where, sorry?
Philadelphia.
Welcome along to the show. Listen, you've seen it, you've heard it. Declan Rice, now Manchester City have entered the race. What's your feelings on it? Can we still get this deal done?
I'm not too sure now, to be honest. But to be fair, though, once I heard from reports that they were monitoring the situation, I always thought they were going to come in regardless. No matter what we put down, the only thing we can do is outbid them, and then we all know how that goes. We don't outbid anybody. We match and hope for the best, you know. So I'm not too confident, but it's a little wait thing. The only thing that's bad for me is they beat us for the Premier League, and it looks like they're going to beat us again. And you're talking about embarrassment. That's a big embarrassment for me.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we have to keep reiterating this. It's not actually done yet. It could also be that if we could pull it off, it would be brilliant for Arsenal, because it would be it would be a real statement of intent, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely give us a confidence boost going forward for the windows and what other players see from the outside what's going on inside Arsenal. But from past experiences, I don't see it going that way. I'm still hopeful. I'm not going to be sitting here negative. I still think that we've kept this something to the player. I think it's reported that he's open to both moves. And it's really just down to the bids and the clubs who are willing to pay for the money. I also agree with what Lee said. Who else is out there if we don't get him? We've funded Chelsea to go and get Caicedo. That puts us out of the bid because they're asking for over 100 mil. The Havertz thing as well. I don't really. I'm kind of I'm not happy with the Havertz thing. Like the rest of the fan base players at once. Normally, we just aim for one. We've gotten one done. The only bad thing is the one we haven't gotten done is that Marquis signing that we're looking at.
Yeah, that's a great point. You know what I mean? I think we've got to get one of those marquee signings over the line. And listen, as I say, I don't think everybody should be losing it at this moment in time. But you know, it is a bit. It's going to be hard. So the other thing that was a great point they makes there is that if they get Declan Rice, that takes them further away from us to win the league. You know what I mean? Like, you know, are they doing it from that point of view? I don't know. Arsenal had a chance to really push that close to them. But I think if they get Declan Rice, as I say, who do we get after that? He's not going to be as good as Declan Rice. We're not as good as Manchester City. That's what they're going to have to do. But as I say, if the way you're looking at it, you're going to be spending the same money on Caicedo as you are Declan Rice. But the fact of the matter is, I think if he does go to Man City, I do think that we'll have to go for Caicedo, and we should get him. But the player might turn around and go, well, 2 weeks ago you didn't want me, you wanted Declan Rice, so I'm going to go to Chelsea now.
Okay, well listen, thank you very much for the call. Really appreciate that.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you all the way from Philadelphia. I think we've got Jude. We've got Jude back. How you doing,
Hey,
Jude?
Jude.
Yeah, Robbie and Lee. Now I'm just making my debut on this channel.
Thank you for coming on.
I'm calling from Chicago, by the way.
From Chicago. Nice to have you on.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Honestly, I've been trying to get onto this show because you people are doing great and amazing job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm on the channel. Personally, I have to say this channel has actually saved me, but you don't know. I just want to encourage you to continue doing what you're doing. You know, there was a time that this channel literally saved me. You know,
thank you.
Cheers, man.
You know, so, and I've been listening, I've been following people for a very long time, and I've been trying to get on. This is the first time I'm calling in on social media ever. So, and my intention is to continue because
we're honoured, man. We're honoured to have you on.
Yeah, when it comes to Arsenal is in my blood, you know, and this particular matter, I respect both of you because Lee and Robbie, you people are the most balanced Arsenal fan in terms of because
Lee?
you don't just go up,
Lee balanced.
Yeah, Lee is balanced. Because at the end, Lee always try to see this thing from every angle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's understandable that we understand why Arsenal fans are reacting like this. Everybody understand that. Yeah, it's very frustrating and all that. But let me just tell you, I am one of the few Arsenal fans that are not worried about this. Even if we lose Declan Rice.
Ooh, but it'd be embarrassing though, wouldn't it? Jude, come on, like you can understand, right, where a lot of Arsenal fans are coming from, and I do understand it myself. We missed out on Vlahovic, number one target. Caicedo, number one target, missed out on him. You know what I mean? Who else? Now Declan Rice, Mudryk. You know, this is a lot of number. And don't get me wrong, the plan Bs have all worked out pretty good. But when are we going to nail one of the number one targets? When we're going for someone and we say, right, we want him and we actually get him, because this is another one of our number one targets that we could possibly miss out on.
Okay, this is one thing everybody is missing out. have you people ever cared what Mikel Arteta wants?
What he wants.
Like, if he really wants to go as high as what they are demanding from all these players we're missing out.
Yeah, but this is but Declan Rice is the number one target for Arsenal.
He's the number one target. But if Arteta feels that he cannot go up and pay whatever they are requesting and eventually lose out, it's Arteta's decision.
Yeah, true.
Because for me, it's Arteta's decision. For me, it's not about money. Because obviously, Kroenke, from what I'm believing, is ready to back them on this summer. Everything they want to do is them. If they decide they're not going to close in on this deal, it's on them. But for me, I just want us to give them this chance to do this thing the way they want to do it.
That's fair enough, but
let us not forget that there's certain transactions that we did. Everybody from the beginning, Ben Watt is there, Ramsdale is there. Everybody questioned that. And
very true.
Jude's right what he's saying, but what I will counter-attack that with is that we paid over the odds for Ben White. We paid over the odds for Ramsdale. Why? Because Arteta wanted them. You know, we wanted those players. So now you've got the opportunity to get the one they've all wanted. Don't settle for second best.
Trust me, if Arteta wants me that bad, he will pay. Because he has shown this track of paying over the odd on something that I really, really want.
No, that's true. That is true.
Well, listen. If we're going to close the gap on teams like Manchester City, these are the type of signings we need. We don't need them who've already got a gap between us actually going to get the player that we want to use to close the gap on them to then further extend the gap, if you get my meaning.
Well, actually, I know how frustrating it could be. I know it's very, very embarrassing and frustrating, but this thing is in their hands. So for me, I'll just give them time to do whatever they want to do. For me, the signing that I really, really want, that's what everybody is forgetting, is Timber. Is this Timber? Forget all this.
Timber. Julian Timber.
Julian Timber. For me, that's one of the most important signing of this season. If you pull it off.
Okay.
I'm telling you, because what Arteta is going to do with this guy, all of us, mark this thing, I'm telling you, all of us will be amazed about it. And another thing is, you see, Moses Caicedo, I still believe that Arteta is still interested in Moses Caicedo.
Well, he may move for him. He may move for him if we don't get Declan Rice.
You don't want that. I believe that they have kind of an agreement.
Okay.
He just kept a little bit of a kind of keep quiet on that. Now, the information I'm getting is that City did exactly what we did there. £75 million and £15 million added. But the £75 million is going to pay it on 2 installments. That's the information we're getting here. Just on 2 installments. Only what they changed is just the structure. Because they believe they are almighty City and they can eventually choose them. Yeah.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Listen, Jude, thank you very much for your call, man. Really appreciate it. And make sure you come back on again.
Cheers, Jude.
Yeah? Make sure you come back on again. We appreciate your call, man.
Yeah, my pleasure, my pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you to Jude, man. Appreciate that call.
I see what Jude, it's great, isn't it, when you get these fans on, because our different opinions that they've got, you know what I mean? Like Timber, I think he's a good player, but
that'd be a good signing.
It'd be a very good signing, but he's not what we need. We
Declan
need
Rice
midfield players.
Rice, you know what? Right, the Julian Timber one. If we can get that deal done, and by the way, there's other teams interested in that. I wouldn't be surprised Man United try and come in and get that one, because he used to play for Ten Hag and that. But the Julian Timber, I think, would be a great signing. But I still think Declan Rice is a game changer for Arsenal. I really do.
It's a game changer from our point of view, but it's also it will bridge the gap for Man City. If Man City get Declan Rice, like, you know what I mean, like they're going further away.
They're going further away, yeah. We've got some more callers. Just before I do, let me just do the super chat. Chatiana says, if we miss out on Rice and Caicedo, it'll be embarrassing.
Yeah,
this club isn't ambitious enough. Edu needs to be sacked if that happens. Wow. Russell Jones says, as an Arsenal fan through and through, the club continued to show that the club is a circus owned and controlled by clowns. And Chris B says, anybody who thinks that City weren't always going to come in for Rice is deluded. If we'd have bid 100 million straight away, this was still going to happen. It's always up to Rice. He'll choose.
Well, he will choose. He will choose. But if Arsenal and Manchester City match the valuation, if Manchester City match the valuation and we don't, there's only one choice. You know what I mean? Like, he ain't going to go to Arsenal. The only way we can make it a straight shootout is we match what they match.
Okay, I think we might have Elliot back. We got Elliot back. How you doing?
Oh, Elliot.
I am back. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Excellent. Right. I'm glad that you guys have discussed amongst yourselves the whole Kai Havertz situation, because quite simply, that was, Edu and Richard Garlick gone wrong, quite simply, and their management of transfers in this club. Number one. Number two, Arteta did not decide on if he wanted Declan Rice or not. Arteta said to him, what I meant to say is this. Arteta, that was his man. That was his number one target, bar none. It was up to us to go and get him. We didn't go out and get him. We did. We tried to go out and get him with, pussyfooting around and trying to massage the issue, because we thought we were the only club wanting in on Rice, and everybody else backed up. So we said, yeah, let's play this cool. Let's play this coy. Let's put in 5 installments. Let's amortize over 6 years, over 7 years, and we got embarrassing with it, guys. Got embarrassing with it. And so Man City said, you know what? They're not a big club over there. And we're going to show them who a real big club is. Let me jump in and let me see. Let me show you what we can do. So they said, you know what? We're treble winners. So all of your chat about you being a good club, we're going to show you what a big club is. Yeah, we're going to jump in on this. We don't care if we offer Calvin Phillips or not, because quite simply we're going to match whatever you do, and quite simply we're treble winners. So we're going to. So it hasn't been decided yet, but pretty much they're odds on to beat us, Robbie. Let's call a spade a spade. They're pretty much odds on to beat us. That's what pisses me off about this club. Pisses me off about Edu. Pisses me off about Garlic. Is the fact of the matter is they were ready. We had 1 week to get this sorted. 1 week. You put in because listen, this is what it was all about. For West Ham, it was all about making a £100 million sale. That's what they were about. They wanted to brag to their supporters. Listen, we sold our best ever player for £100 million. Look what we did. We couldn't do that. We said, nah, we're going to give you 80. Nah, we're going to give you a bit of 90. Nah, we're going to do this. We're going to pussyfoot around. But at the end of the day, Robbie, I'll ask you this question. Do you think we're going to give them £100 million for Declan Rice?
Honestly, don't know. I think Arsenal will go up to 100 million, because I think it's been made pretty clear to them in the last few days that West Ham won 100 million. But I get the feeling that they won't go above that. But I do think that they will. What do you think, Lee?
I'm with you on that. I think that they will. That whatever Manchester City offer, I think Arsenal.
But like the last caller was saying, is are they going to be able to match those terms? That Manchester City came with. But listen, I understand why you're upset, but it's not done yet.
But here's the thing, Robbie. Do you think the Cronkies, who have won championships all over North America, because you know where I'm at, they've won championships all over North America. They've gone to get themselves the best basketball player in the world, and they paid his money. Do you think that they will come around to us and say, you know what, we got one of the best midfielders in the world. You know what? Here's some extra dough. Sorry.
I was getting very angry. He was nearly.
I'm getting so heated about this, Robbie. You think that they would literally put the money on the table and say, you know what? Go out and get Declan Rice. Here's that 120. Here's that 130. Do what you got to do. Bring in your number one target. Do you think the Cronkies will extend themselves that far to do what needs to be done?
We're going to find out.
I think what Lee says there, we're going to find out. I honestly, all I know, right, is that they have been coughing up a lot of money. You know what I mean? They've just done, they just put the money together to do the deal for Havertz. which 65 million is the second highest we've ever paid for a player. They've been in bidding for Declan Rice. There's bids that have gone in for Jurriën Timber. They're splashing the cash. I think of all the clubs so far in the Premier League, we've actually been the team putting forward the most money to try and get players. However, it's about getting them over the line. That's the thing.
That's the thing, Robbie. We are the kings of of bids and of terms and agreeing personal terms with players. We're not the team to say, you know what, we're going to get our number one target. Because with respect to our last caller from Chicago, Jurriën Timber wasn't our number one target. Kai Havertz wasn't our number one target. Nobody was our number one target. Declan Rice was a number one target. That's a great point. Take care of number one. You know it and I know it. In business, you take care of number one first, and then everybody else falls into place. You have given Kai Havertz £65 million that you could have dedicated to this deal, got it over the line. You decided, nah, we're gonna get cute and coy because we're the only guys in this race. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Is that good business, Robbie? You being a businessman, is that good business to not take care of number one?
No, well, we don't know if they've not been still trying to take care of number one in the background.
It's a great point.
It is a great point.
It's a great point.
But what I'm saying is we don't know, just because one deal gets done before another, doesn't mean that they haven't been dedicating a lot of time and resources to the Declan Rice bid. But listen, I'm gonna have to cut you short, Elliot, because we've got a load of other callers.
Top caller, Elliot. Love it.
Thank you very much.
Love the passion.
Go and have a drink, man. Go and calm down a bit.
I'm still at work here, Robbie. Remember.
Yeah, maybe not. Have it later. Yeah, don't have that drink yet.
Come at you, Robbie. But you know what? I love you. I love you, Lee.
Love you too, bro.
Keep doing the good work. But hey, listen. I'll say this one thing. If we don't get this deal over the line, Adu out, Garlic out, and the Kroenkes, they can leave. They can take that. Listen, they can take their shovels and they can leave because quite simply, they're not serious enough to handle this club and our number one targets. Plain and simple.
Thank you very much. Wow. Right.
Great call. I love that call.
He's
I love it.
Passionate.
Love the
he's
passion.
Passionate there. Who have we got up next? Rye, how you doing, Rye?
Doesn't look happy neither.
He don't look happy. No happy faces today.
Yes, evening Lee, evening Robbie. I don't know what to say, man. I'm fuming, man. I can't hide it. How many times do Arsenal always miss out on their number one targets? Yes, I know Arteta managed to get Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko last season, and that throughout the majority of last season, that nearly got us over the finishing line.
And actually, just jumping in on you, you make a great point because it turned out that we heard with the Gabriel Jesus one that Chelsea came in at the last, and this is what I'm saying about bids, right? Chelsea came in at the last minute and offered more money to bring Jesus to Chelsea, but Jesus said no. Yeah. I've already agreed to join Arsenal. I think we've got to hope for something like that in this one as well.
Honestly, for me, I think I've spoken to Turkish and Seal. I work at Chelsea Football Club where I do security, and a lot of their fans right now, they're over the moon that we bought Kai Havertz. And to be honest, with the Kai Havertz deal, I'm not really happy that we bought him, but I can see in a sort of way why Arteta might have put his money into him, because we need strength and depth, and we're going to be in the Champions League next season. For me, you look at Manchester City's squad and they have 2 to 3 players in each and every position, so that if you rotate and you change the quality, there's no drop off in quality when Man City play. For me, Kai Havertz, I think if God forbid if Odegaard picks up a knock or is out for 3 or 4 weeks, we've got Kai Havertz that can come in and fill in as a false number 9, or he can play on the left. Me personally, I don't really understand the Havertz still, because I don't think he suits Arsenal's system and style of play. But I'm now at that position with, if Arteta wants a player, let's go out and get him. Because with Declan Rice, great call from Elliot that just spoke there not long ago as well. If he's our number one target in any form of life, Robbie, in business law, anything, when you've got your target set out for what you want to go and get in order to make your company better or whatever, you go out and get it. You don't dilly-dally around. And I just feel like
what do you think?
Mudryk, go on. Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen? I was just reading there was this from James Ollie. I think he works at the Evening Standard, journalist, and he said, sources have told ESPN that Arsenal were confident that Declan Rice wanted to move to them, but Manchester City will test their confidence. Arsenal believe talks were progressing well. However, it's possible that City's pedigree may tempt Rice to into a change of heart. So that would suggest that all the indications to Arsenal from the player was, I'm coming, I'm good, I want to join you. Hence why teams like Bayern Munich pulled out. However, now that Manchester City are coming, it could turn its head. Similar to the situation like I said to the Jesus.
You know what, Robbie? The way how I look at it on this Declan Rice deal, at the end of the day, the final decision is going to come down to him and where his mind set is on where he wants to go. We all know that London, at the beginning of what I was reading from other newspaper articles, he wants to stay. I think Fabrizio Romano or David Alstein put it out a few weeks ago. He wants to stay in London because of his family and his kids and etc. But when Manchester City come calling, and we all know they won the treble last season, it's a different ball game when they come in, because when they want a player, they can offer their projects just as big. If their project's bigger than ours, we've got to be real. We've got to keep it real on this. Whereas if Arsenal want him, you've got to pay over the market and over the odds for players now. Players aren't what their value was worth 5 to 6 years ago. You've got to overspend on players nowadays, which is unfortunate. But it's the way how the market is. For me, I've spoken to quite a lot of my Arsenal friends where I work at my workplace. I feel Chelsea have messed up the market from 2 or 3 years ago. You look at Enzo Fernandez isn't worth his price, but yes, he won the World Cup with Argentina. You look at so many players now. Liverpool, they've had the best deal so far with getting McAllister for 35 million. And I just think to myself, if Arsenal really want Declan Rice, we have. I'm with you, Lee, on this. If we don't get this deal over the line, I don't know if I'm going to be able to swallow this, Robbie, man. Because do we then go back in for Caicedo? Because what's going to go on? Because I'm hearing Chelsea are close to getting that deal done. Why are Arsenal not trying to get both of these two players? You get Caicedo and Rice in, our midfield there is set for the next 4 to 5 years in terms of defensive midfielders. And Caicedo not only can play defensive, he played right back against us when Brighton beat us 3-0 last season. And Martinelli, it's the one time where I've seen Martinelli not really have the better of a right back when he's come up against him. And you just look at both of them, they give us so much versatility and they can cover in so many different areas. Arteta needs to put pressure on Edu as well. This is one thing I won't let slide as well. Arteta needs to put pressure on Edu, but Edu, he needs to up his game, because West Ham won a bidding war, man, and I just feel like we're going to miss out.
West Ham have got a bidding war. They've got a bidding war. Listen, thank you.
We played into their hands.
Yeah, listen, thank you very much for your call, man. I feel your passion, man.
On Saturday as well.
The Claude Cup.
The Claude Cup, right?
Looking forward to meeting you in person, man. All right, so seeing you at the Claude Cup, man.
I saw you Box Park Croydon as well. I remember seeing you Saturday, couple weeks to the Champions League final. I spoke to you briefly, but I'm going to see you Saturday. I
look forward to that, man. Thanks for coming to support that. Appreciate that, man. Great call. Great call.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I'll tell you what, one of the other things that he says there, which is really important, is that I don't know one Chelsea fan, I don't know too many, but not one of them's turned around, not one Chelsea fan I know is gutted that Kai Havertz is leaving.
Although I did hear Rory Jennings saying that whilst he's not, it was a real strange one, because he's going, Havertz didn't really do it at Chelsea, but he's upset that Chelsea is selling him to Arsenal, because he does feel that he feels that Chelsea is strengthening their rival, because he could go there and really be a good player. But I think the thing is, no one's concerned about the Havertz thing at the moment.
No.
What we're concerned about is Declan Rice.
You see,
it's just getting annoying that this.
One thing I get from that call, and it is a fit. If Arsenal would have agreed to a bid a week ago, Manchester City still could have come in, Robbie.
Yeah,
still turned his head.
Of course,
of course. There's no way that the worrying thing for us is have we dithered enough to get that deal done? There's two different things here.
I think if it weren't for the fact that in the past we've had so many of these deals where we've gone after our number one target and it hasn't happened, maybe people wouldn't be losing it as much as they are.
Yeah, I think
but they are. They're having
yeah.
flashbacks. I mean, Chris P says anybody that thinks that City were always going to come in for Rice are deluded.
Yeah,
if we bid 100 million straight away, this is always going to happen. It's always up to Rice. He'll choose where he goes. Scape says Lavia daily incoming if we don't get Rice. Tiedeman's flashbacks. Big up to you guys from LA. Clinton Mark says don't think if Arsenal went for Havertz in July, we would have got him for much less money since he didn't want to extend. So why not get Rice done first? Because a lot of teams were interested. Tomislav says, as James keeps repeating, this is how you do negotiations. As someone that works on the club side, if they went with 100 million, right now would be the same thing on a higher price. It's exactly the point. People are having a go at me, right, in the chat and saying, Robbie, it sounds like you're working for the club. And I really do think, just think negotiations now for anything. If you go straight away with the asking price, there is no negotiation. It can only be that you've paid over the odds or you're going to end up paying more. So you go in a little bit lower to begin with, then see where that takes you. Now, if Arsenal, and I was just reading that article by James Ollie, if Arsenal have definitely been given an encouragement and a confidence, which I do believe.
Yeah, there is.
That's been there, because Bayern Munich came in and then they came out of literally straight away, and there were reports over there in Germany where Bayern Munich were basically saying there's not really any much point in us entering into bidding with this because Declan Rice has made it clear that he's looking at going to Arsenal. But obviously Manchester City coming in now changes things, and we did know a week ago that Manchester City were saying that they're showing an interest. And by the way, everybody, Manchester City have not actually bid anything yet.
No.
They're showing an interest. They haven't bid yet.
Also, you have to look at it and say that, Declan Rice is a top player, but there's no other clubs really in for him. Manchester United, Newcastle, whoever. Like, one of those reasons is because they've probably inquired, and he's gone now. He wants to go to Arsenal.
But why now City? Because they're probably saying,
well, maybe City have looked at it and thought, well, we'll try our arm, we'll chance our arm. There's it doesn't mean to say that he's gonna go there. Listen, players have been, he's lucky, isn't he? Some players don't get a choice where they go. He's got a choice of where he can go, and it comes down to it. Sometimes you don't get that choice. So.
Thomas Slav also had another super chat. He said about Caicedo and co. Arteta has shown that he wants a player that he wants to play for the club and not for the money. I think we've got Fabrizio. A Fabrizio update on Partey. Oh, sorry. I thought we had Fabrizio call there. We've got a Fabrizio update on Thomas Partey. So let me just see if I can find what Mr. Romano has been saying. Right, on Thomas Partey, says, I understand that Thomas Partey considers Juventus as a priority. He hopes to stay in Europe. Talks will follow, and there's still no official proposal. Arsenal are prepared to let Thomas go, but important proposal will be needed after Saudi approaches. Arsenal looking to apparently get about £40 million for him. It does look like he's going to be on his way out.
Yeah, he looks like...
I was told that Arsenal weren't really looking to sell him. It's actually him who wants to go.
So it's Jorginho and El Nini for our first game of the season. Our Champions League money is going to be good, isn't it? So, listen, if they're prepared to let Partey go and Xhaka, they must have something big up their sleeves. That's all I'm saying.
Imagine,
and confident, or they are just plain stupid, and I don't believe that they are plain stupid. Listen, last season I'm gonna stick up for Edo a little bit. Do you remember when he turned around and said we'll be more than happy that when it's gonna go bang? Well, it nearly went bang. You know what I mean? Like, I still got confidence that they've got something up their sleeves.
They've got to have something up their sleeves. Tomislav says on the Havertz topic, this whole topic is where he plays. This whole topic and where he plays. Consider the point that he's the perfect backup in the middle positions for Arteta. Instead of buying 3 to 4 players to cover positions, he gets one. Well, like a lot of people have been saying today, they're really interested in Havertz.
One thing about Havertz, didn't he play with Odegaard at some?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Was it like when they was on loan?
Yes,
So they must have some sort of chemistry, a relationship. Yeah. So there must be something in there.
And Tommy Stafford, another super chat says, 3-2. You have a squad depth via one player. There's quality, and when you think about it, which other player on quality would be willing to come in for squad depth? As I said, it's the Rice thing that most people are interested in. Just before we go, let me just ask you, Jurriën Timber, would you like that signing?
Yeah, we need to strengthen in that area. Listen, it will be an upgrade on holding, which is what we need to do. It also gives us, I think Ben White was superb for us, but when the business ended the season, he faded because he played too many games. So I do think we need to strengthen there. It's great that we're getting all these, but for me, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in anybody else until we sort this midfield out. Now, I'm going to be really honest with you. The midfield wasn't strong enough with Xhaka and Partey in it last season. We're going to take them two out now. We've got to bring in another two. You know what I mean? It still ain't strong enough, Robbie. You know what I mean? So I don't know what they're doing. I really don't know. If they're letting Partey go, and they're not going to get Rice, well, I don't know what route they're going to go down. I don't really know. Unless they get rid of, they're going to see Xhaka and Partey go, and they're going to bring in Caicedo, Rice, and Lavia.
Lavia. Lavia's a kid. He's 19.
Yeah, well, that'd be a great. I'll
signing.
take those three midfield players and let them two go, but I can't see it happening. I don't really know at the moment. It's a funny old game, isn't it? Where Arsenal have told me for 3 years to believe the process, and for 2 of those years I thought it was a load of crap. This year I started to believe it. Now, just when they get me on board, they're going to mess it all up. You know what I mean? Because I tell you, if they don't get this right this summer, any little thing that they do wrong, I'm going to be onto them, because I've been backing them up left, right, and centre because of things in there. But this is the opportunity now to really go. And if they don't, there's no more excuses for them no more. I've been given pelters like the Liverpool thing, saying it was a free hit and all that. That was backing them up the process. I got pillared for that. I've backed them all last season, even towards the end of the season. If they do not do this right in the summer, I don't know where they go from here. I really don't. I'm worried. I am getting slightly worried now when I'm seeing that it looks certain now that Partey's going.
Yeah,
it looks certain now. So yeah, maybe Smith Rowe's going to play in the midfield as well.
Oh well, listen.
There's only free transfers out there, from midfield.
The saga continues.
We're end up with what's his name, Rabiot from on a free transfer from Juventus. We always wanted him, Robbie. That's the one we was going for. I can hear him saying it now, no excuses now. There's no excuses. Oh God. Do you know what? This is one of the reasons I love what we do. But this is
hate transfers.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. If I was just a fan that was just not doing all this sort of stuff now, I would just switch off my phone, have nothing to do with Sky Sports for a month. I cannot stand it.
Try to have you do the transfer show.
It's
Lasady says, Robbie, I believe that Xhaka ain't leaving. Well, it might be a case that they might have to try and persuade him to stay at this rate. All right, listen, let's wrap it up. The big news today, of course, is all about the man himself, Declan Rice. Will he or won't he be joining Arsenal? Manchester City have attempting to hijack the deal. They have entered the race to sign Declan Rice. Let me just once again just read that tweet finally from David Ornstein that he broke about 5 hours ago, where he said that Manchester City are expected to submit an offer to West Ham for Declan Rice today. City have serious interest in recruiting the 24-year-old midfielder. It's anticipated a formal bid will be lodged soon to rival Arsenal's for the signing of Declan Rice. They're expected to lodge a bid today. We don't know what that bid is. And it's going to be a straight shootout by the looks of it between Arsenal and Manchester City for his signature. and it's going to be down to Declan Rice to decide where he goes. Lee, thank you very much.
I enjoyed that today, like.
I enjoyed it very much.
Good.
Thanks to all the callers who came on. Really thank you very much. To Nicky, seems like an age ago. Nicky was on from West Ham Fan TV at the start of the show, and also Big Steve, big Manchester City fan, who also joined us on the show as well. Where is he going? Keep the conversation going. We'll be keeping you updated throughout the day with updates on this situation. Also, don't forget, each and every morning, Transfer Daily here on AFTV. Keep your notifications on. And also, don't forget, on Saturday, the Claude Cup. You know, that'd be a bit of relief to take our minds off of it.
Hour and a half.
The Claude Cup, where we'll be AFTV FC versus DR All-Stars. Lee's playing for AFTV. I'm managing AFTV. It's for a great cause of raising some money for the Claude Trust. Make sure you come down on the day. But we are out of here for the Invincible podcast live. Where's Declan Rice going to be? We're going to find out. Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.